Um, yes, and so those are the only preliminary things I wanted to share. And so we're gonna move swiftly along through the agenda so we can get to the end of it. And I'm looking forward to the information from those reports, more information. I'm really pleased. I had a chance to read them all, very enlightening. And I'll share more as the particular chairpersons are sharing their report. But this is what the NAACP is all about. And I'm real happy about that, getting us focused on the work of the committees. And I have to say this, I know we waited, I have to say this. Sister Leah agreed your prison report was on the money. I just want to applaud.
And just let me publicly thank my ladies for helping me out.
Please do.
Appreciate that. You bear with me. I tell you, I got experts in the house with me. So thank you, ladies. Linda, Lydia, and Mary, you got a yeoman job. Thank you.
Yes, they did. They did. I want to say that to them as well. Thank you very much. That's the work of the NAACP, working together to accomplish the goals. That is the champion equal rights and elimination of racial prejudice, the 1909 charter goal. And so I'm real pleased with that. And you got some real interesting information there. And we got to come to those hearings on behalf of the NAACP to support some of these things that you shared, which is excellent. So once again, thank you, Sister Green, for getting the written report to me as I've been requesting. And thank you, Davis and Dr. Donnie, for assisting her with that. Anybody else who's having problems getting their written reports, any chairperson I'm talking about, take care. Please touch bases with Dr. Donnie or Sister Davis, and they can kind of give you some guidance on that, because the report Sister Green prepared was excellent, and it was to the point, and it was just really well written. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so what time do we have, Dr. Donnie?
I have 10:03.
10:03. Okay, 2 minutes. I'm gonna call it to order, call the meeting to order, and we're gonna proceed. And when Mr. Downey comes in, excuse me, when Mr. Downey comes in, Dr. Downey, you and Brother Downey can decide how you want to proceed. But we'll get started.
I'm online now, so you can just go ahead and kick it off. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Antonio, can you take the screen share?
Yes. Just make me co-host, and then we'll keep it moving.
Okay, just a moment. I'm having some difficulties. And you have the agenda, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Brother Downey, thank you for keeping your word, sir. Keep me under 5 minutes. I appreciate when people keep their word in professional meetings. Thank you very much. Let us get started. Of course, today is February the 17th, and I am now calling to order the general meeting of the Anne Arundel County branch of the NAACP, and I'm going to begin with a prayer, and we're going to proceed according to the agenda. Let us bow our heads in prayer. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and they that do his commandments are in order. In light of Psalm 111:10, Lord, we come before you knowing that the fear of the Lord, the reverence for God, is the beginning of wisdom, and they that do your commandments. It's a good thing when we do your commandments, because you're the only God. Thank you for Jesus who died for us on Calvary's cross. Lord, we ask that you reign supreme in this general meeting. Keep our hearts and our minds focused on the NAACP and its charter goal to champion equal rights and elimination of racial prejudice. Keep us focused, oh God, and not distracted, so we can do the great work of the NAACP. We've all volunteered, oh Lord, to do this, and we want to stay focused so we're not wasting one another's time or being distracted by things that have nothing to do with the charter goal of the NAACP. Guide the chairpersons to stay focused on the committee work. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Thank God. Amen. Amen. If everybody take a look at the agenda so I can get a motion for approval in a second, and we can proceed accordingly.
As someone noted during the executive committee meeting, the agendas for both the executive committee and the general body meeting are the same, and they're the same from month to month unless we have a guest speaker. This should be familiar.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing that. So can I just get a motion here?
I have a question real quick. Will we be discussing new business today? I don't think we did it last month, but I think it was on that agenda and it's on this agenda.
The only new business and unfinished business we will be discussing is the reports of the committees today. That's what we're going to be discussing in new business and unfinished business. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
yourself if it's nothing.
Okay, I move that we approve the agenda.
You certainly don't want to.
Has anybody seconded?
Second. I second.
Okay. The approval of the agenda has been moved and second. Thank you very much. The minutes of the previous meeting, Dr. Dodoni has done a fine job and give us the minutes of the previous meeting. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. I did. And if you take a glance at it, you're going to put that up on Dr. Dodoni, the minutes from the general body meeting held on January 20th, 2024. Thank you, Dr. Dodoni. Did a fine job. I had a chance to read through them. Thank you very much.
I want to note that I'm intentionally muting participants who are not speaking. You can unmute yourself, but background sounds do drift in, so I'm muting people who aren't muted and aren't speaking at the time.
Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting. Dr. Dodoni, I don't think we need a motion for that, right? We just give them some time to look at it, correct?
In the past, we have moved to accept the minutes pending any editorial changes or minor corrections.
Oh, good. Okay. So if I can get a motion for that in a second, we can proceed.
I move that the minutes be received pending any corrections or additions.
Thank you, Ralph Thomas.
Second.
I second the motion.
Okay. Thank you, Sister
Thank you,
Stanberry.
Neva Stans.
Yeah, I do have a correction.
Okay. You want to share that now?
Yeah, just to I know it was because it was copied. Where it says minutes of previous meeting, you got minutes from prior executive committee. Just need to change that to general.
Neva, I found that and I've corrected it on a later copy. I will make sure the later copy goes in the records. Thank you.
Yeah, I have the copy too. That's why it wasn't in mine. Thank you very much. Okay, let's proceed with the reports of officers. And what I want to do, I want to share just a little bit from the from our legislative agenda presentation we had with the Anne Arundel County delegation. I'm gonna share a few things from there. I'm not gonna elaborate too much because Sister Leah Green and Dr. Dodoni also were with me in this presentation. They did a fine job, and so I'm gonna let them talk any more on the sections on education and I believe the other section was police reform and criminal justice. What I want to share mainly two or three things from our presentation to the Anne Arundel County delegation. The first thing I want to share is the Judicial Diversity Accountability Act. Everybody who knows Reverend Jones that I've been fighting to diversify the judiciary before I became the president. And so I had to work on drafting up a bill so I can get some sponsors. And the bill that the Lord laid on my heart was the Judiciary Diversity Accountability Act. Many people may not know this, but Maryland is the fourth most diverse state in this country. I believe it's exceeded only by Hawaii, Nevada, and California. And so we're almost about 40% non-white in this state. Do you know that if you exclude Baltimore City and PG County, the diversity on the bench in the state falls below 9%? What that means, brothers and sisters, that marginalized communities' tax money is being used to pay the salaries of these judges, and they're excluding us from representation. And so I just wanted to mention to you that this particular proposed bill, I spoke to a few delegates and a few senators in terms of getting them to sponsor this. The bill is real detailed in making sure with 100% certainty that we get a diverse judiciary. It's more than judicial nominating commission. It's more than them. They're part of the problem. And also the governor in the past has been part of the problem because he's been rubber stamping all the recommendations they send up to him. And their recommendations have been unquestionably and statistically racially exclusionary or discriminatory. So the governor and the legislature are part of this. And this bill here deals with both levels, both the executive level, that's with the governor, and on the legislative, on the judiciary level as well, concerning the Judicial Nominating Commission. So it's a real clear bill that will bring about diversity. And I'm in a process now of getting some sponsors here. I've communicated with them. I haven't gotten them to commit yet, but I am in communication with them, sharing these statistics of showing how discriminatory this judiciary has been for the history of the state. And it's a problem throughout the country, but it's more egregious in states that are extremely diverse, like the state of Maryland, the fourth most diverse state in this country. And that's next thing I want to share about is some statistics came out on the Maryland Public Schools arrest data, school year 2021 to 2022. And this was shocking to me as I was sharing at the executive committee meeting that Anne Arundel County has the most arrests of students in the entire state. 444 students were arrested. And hear this clearly, 85% of those students came from marginalized communities. 85% of the students arrested came from marginalized communities, Black and brown children. This means that basically when the police officers were placed in these schools, it seemed as if they're only arresting children from marginalized communities. If 85% of them are being arrested, we have to revisit these police officers in the schools. We got to consider alternatives. I mentioned in the actual legislative agenda, I laid out a couple things that could be considered instead of arresting these students and putting them in the criminal justice system with this school to prison pipeline, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension, mandatory conferences with parents for each offense. You better believe that if a parent has to leave their job and come and deal with their child on a regular basis, they're going to get tired of that. Also, mental health care, parenting classes, alternative schools, all of these things are options. The students do not have to be arrested. And so that's one alternative that we need to consider. Also, we need to consider replacing these police officers, in my view, with sheriffs who have a different mindset. Now, it's not an either or, it's a both and. So we need to consider alternatives, and also we need to reevaluate putting sheriffs in place of police officers in school. And the reason for that is police officers have an arrest and subdue mindset, where sheriffs have a serve and protect. They serve warrants and they protect people who come to the court. So they're two different mindsets. I had a meeting with Sheriff Setsker. We had a long meeting, and he was explaining to me that the mindset plays a big role in this arresting of students, Reverend Jones. He said police officers are used to arresting and subduing. And he said that sheriffs, we don't have that same mindset. So that's an alternative, I believe, that's really, really a good idea for us to consider this. Because it's in the law that we have these resource officers, the police officers in the schools, then we have to, this is the reason why I had it in our legislative agenda, we got to get a law to change that. And so in order to get these police officers out of school, it has to be a law. But in terms of alternatives, we don't need a law for that. We just got to stop these police officers from arresting these students no matter what's going on, unless somebody's life is in danger. We're not talking about somebody bringing a gun to school. We're not talking about extreme things. I'm talking about all these other little matters that they're being arrested for, because most of them were not extreme incidents. And so I want to emphasize that too. We got to try to get some sponsors for that as well. And one other thing I want to share is the public defender. They short on funds, short on attorneys, and with this new law coming out, this law that's a big thing now in the legislature. This is law trying to add crimes to the criminal statute to arrest children younger and younger, as young as 10 years old. The public defender has come out and given testimony. I had a chance to look at a testimony that this will magnify the number of children who are getting tangled up with the criminal justice system. When you add crimes to the criminal justice system, which is already saturated with all kinds of crimes, and these prosecutors are really ingenious in coming up with ways to put you under one of those crimes, to add crimes is a bad idea. Somebody said, Reverend Jones, some of these young people are carjacking, things of this nature. Listen, the Montgomery County DA shared in his testimony something that was real powerful, and I thought we got to emphasize this. He shared that in their jurisdiction, there was a pre-Department of Juvenile Services program, a pre-DJS program, in which the students would be, so to speak, given alternatives before they get charged with a crime. Department of Juvenile Services, that's after a child gets charged with a crime. But the district attorney for Montgomery County said they had a program that was, instead of charging them, you work with the students beforehand. And he said that he doesn't know what happened to the program. It just went away. That's the very program we knew we need to stop this school to prison pipeline. Give these children help they need before they get charged with a crime. Because once they get charged with a crime, that's a different ball game. So those are three things I want to share in particular. Let me see if there's anything else I want to put emphasis on. I asked that you read the President's report, in particular, Section 6, where I shared what I've been doing with legal redress, and also Governor Moore. I had a meeting with Governor Moore's office as well to get him behind this Judiciary Diversity Accountability Act, and they're going to be considering that right now. So I had a good meeting with Governor Moore's office. So that's all I have to share at this time concerning that. And let's proceed now. Unless there's some questions, we're going to go proceed. As a matter of fact, please hold all questions if we get to any unfinished business. We'll do the questions then. Let's proceed. Another first.
I have a quick comment because everybody might forget, or I might even forget by the time you get to me. It was about based on everything that you just said. I feel like that's the perfect reason why Black families should consider homeschooling. I know how hard it is. I did it. But just for everything that you said, I mean, when you think about it, it's like, why are we continuing to send our children to these schools? But it'll be a lot easier to protect our babies when we have them at home. And again, I know it is a lot of work. It was very hard, but things have gotten easier. There are co-ops and things put in place. That's all I wanted to share.
Okay, that's excellent. I think any alternative to these children getting arrested at 85% for marginalized communities, anything should be considered. And so that could be added also to the list of options that I put in our legislative agenda. And so I hadn't thought about that option, but we need to put that in as an option as well, because just arresting these police that come to the schools and arresting students from marginalized communities at 85%. That's inexcusable. Nobody can justify that. That is ridiculous. And so we have got to consider alternatives. And I think to the point of getting them out of the schools and bringing some sheriffs in there. But in the meantime, while they're still in there, do not let them arrest students unless we talk about a life or death type situation. Other than that, alternatives should be used. And so this will be emphasized over and over. I'm going to consider, I'm going to talk to Dr. Dodoni about getting a meeting with the Department of Education. We've got to start thinking differently because these arrest statistics are shocking. And I encourage everybody to take a look at it. You can go to the Board of Education website. It's the Maryland Public Schools Arrest Data School Year 2021-2022. And so thank you for those comments, Sister Bailey. I didn't get a report from Steve White, so we're going to move forward to the second Vice President report. Mr. Downey, since you are presiding in terms of taking care of the electrical stuff, is there anything you want to share, sir, before we go to the next person?
No, I do not have a written report.
I see. Okay. All right. So the Treasury report. Mr. Thomas, sir, I had a chance to look at the report. Excellent job. Could you share now?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I've begun to use the QuickBooks Treasury summary, reconciliation summary. That's why the report looks a little different. Beginning balance, January 1st, $23,059.84. We had checks and payments of $746.81. Deposits and credits of $373.68. End of month, total amount of the bank as of January 31st, 2024, $22,686.71. 22,686.71.
And please address the money from the guy who got arrested. Please address that because somebody has a question about that, I believe.
Yes. There was an agreement with the individual who was captured that he would pay restitution for the remaining $13,000. He did not meet the deadline, so he's been detained. He's currently, he was on probation, but his probation has been lifted. And I'm waiting to hear from the courts to see what the disposition is. But he was supposed to pay the restitution, and only remaining amount of money that was fraudulently removed from us is $13,000. And he had agreed in front of a judge back in December that by the beginning of February, he would satisfy the restitution. He did not do that. So needless to say, he has gone back before the judge, and I'm waiting to hear what the disposition is.
Okay. Thank you for the update, Mr. Thomas. Keep us informed, sir. I'm assuming that them throwing him in jail will be the incentive for him to pay us our money. And so, so unless there's a question about the report, I prefer to hold questions until we get to unfinished business, unless it's very pressing. Okay, thank you, Mr. Is that all, Mr. Thomas?
No, I have one more thing. I'm also put my other hat on, voter registration hat. I got a couple of voter registration drives coming up. I know it's way in the future, but I have one in June. I have two in June. I'm sorry. Cedar Hill Morris Community Day will be held in June, and I will need some volunteers from that. And that runs from 9 o'clock until 7 o'clock. Also, the Juneteenth celebration, that will be coming up in June. I'll need volunteers for that. And April 30th, it's been requested that I have a voter registration table at what's called the Energy Summit. And that's going to be near BWI Airport. And I believe that's from 9 to 5, I believe. But I'll get more details on that. It's April the 30th.
You're going to send out the like you normally do, correct?
Yes, yes. Emails will be coming out. Thank you.
Beautiful. And thank you, sir. Okay, I want everybody to know that we have secretary, assistant secretary. You know, we don't have anybody in those positions, but Dr. Dodoni has been an assistant in a secretarial role. She made it very clear that she's a temporary assistant, but a temporary assistant is better than no assistant. So thank you, Dr. Dodoni. I want to express that and let you know I'm very appreciative of the way you're stepping in. That's the work of the NAACP, working together where there are vacancies, step in, let's get the work done. Thank you very much, Dr. Dodoni. I want to say that to you, dear. Okay, we're going to skip the Youth and College Division. There's nobody there. Reports of committees. Axel, we're going to skip that. Armed Services and Veterans Affairs. Is Reverend Tillett on, Mr. Downey?
No, I don't see him on at the time.
Okay, I don't have a report from me either. Let's get the climate justice of Dr. Garrett. Is she home? I had a chance to read your report, Dr. Garrett, and I see what you're saying about those bills we need to support, and I'm in favor of it, dear. So you can go ahead and share now.
Well, good morning, everyone. And so I was not able to make it to the executive committee meeting on Wednesday. However, I did submit a FAQ from the Maryland Department of the Environment, where we're trying to move forth a bill that would hold folks more accountable who want to go into overburdened communities and try to put another burden on overburdened communities. So there is what's called an EJ score, environmental and justice score, that any people who are new to a community trying to bring more industry into the community would have to pass a certain score, so already burdened communities wouldn't be more burdened. So we did support this bill last year as the NAACP, and so I was asking that we would please support it again this year with the hopes that we could make a little more progress towards getting this bill passed.
Okay, Dr. Gary, you want to make a motion? I think I had a chance to comb through the bill. It seems like it's desperately needed. And so
it's desperately needed, and I'm not sure if I can make the motion. Am I allowed to make the motion on something I'm presenting?
Yes, you can make the motion, and I'll gladly second it.
All right. Well, I'd like to make the motion that the NAA support this MDE permitting authority bill.
I'd add that we introduced this for you per your email during the executive committee meeting, and Reverend Jones will see if there's a state position. That was the decision from the executive committee meeting. Okay. I have not located a state person. And then with the permission or authority of state president in alignment with the state environmental justice position, we'll take the appropriate action to see that there's NAACP support. Have I captured that correctly, Reverend Jones?
Yes, ma'am, because with any type of bill that's going to be statewide, we got to hear from the state also. But as far as our branch is concerned, of course, we're in favor of this. It's just needed, period. And so, but we got to confirm with the state. We don't want to overstep our bounds. You understand?
Well, I would need someone to send me something so that I can present that at the next meeting I attend around this bill, because I really am not clear what that means.
When is the next meeting?
It may be Monday, this Monday, or the 19th.
Okay. Well,
So
if
if someone, even if the meeting isn't Monday, if someone could send me what I would need to know and ask, I can do that in an email because I'm not clear what you all are saying or requiring.
Okay. Well, what we're saying is this. I'm going to reach
No,
out.
I need that in the email because I don't understand it. I want to be able to repeat that to them because they're asking that people, you know, support the bill and sign on to the bill. So I need to know, you know, what to tell the committee, the Climate Act Committee, what it is we would need
I
so
understand
that
what
I can get it. Yeah, just so I can get it.
I understand what you're saying. You need it in writing. What I'm saying is not to counter that. I'm simply saying that I'm going to reach out to the state president, or probably after this meeting, see if I can reach out to him and let him know where we stand on this, and find out if there's a state position, and then follow up with you in writing. That's no problem.
Okay, yeah, because then, you know, if we can't, we can't. But we did, as a branch, support it last year.
Okay. All right. Let's proceed now. Are you finished, Dr. Garrett?
Yes, yes.
I said, thank you for your written report. I appreciate that chance to look through it. Concerning community coordination, Sister Sky Bailey.
I'm here.
Okay,
Hello,
dear.
family. Hello, family. I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Black History Month, even though we know it is 365.
Good morning.
Mary should have my report. If it's not there, I can drop it in the chat. I'll probably drop it in the chat anyway.
Yeah.
I will be brief. Okay. I had a chance to attend a beautiful program at the Heritage Harbor Large Auditorium. That was last Saturday. Carol was one of the organizers for that. And Mr. Carl Snowden was there. And, you know, I love anytime you know that he is out there, he's going to speak. I encourage you to get out there and hear him. You're going to learn something. At least I always learn something. He is the go-to for all things about Annapolis. I know Janice is as well. And then our committee also had a chance to do the dance practice. We'll be doing that again today. We're trying to bring awareness to mental health. And then also, when you get a chance, please subscribe to the 28 Days of Black History if you haven't done that already. I have an
Mr. Downey, we got some echo here. What's going on, sir? Thank you for taking care of that.
Yep.
Thank you for taking care of that. Okay, you may proceed, Sister Bailey.
Okay. So then just real quick, yeah, I gave an example of one of the items from the 28 Days of Black History, Day 2, which was something that I learned about with Marion Stokes, who was an independent archivist. I'd never heard of that, but apparently that's what I used to do as well when I was doing speed racing and just letting everybody know about the news that was going on in our community. And I attached that as well to the newsletter. And the reason why I was doing that in the past is because I was very frustrated by people saying that oh, I didn't know what was going on about how we were getting arrested and racial profiling and all the information. So I just really became obsessed with archiving information. So it's on there. And again, I will drop it into the chat. Just give me a few minutes, and stay safe, everyone. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sister Bailey. Appreciate that. I haven't seen the written report, but I'm gonna make sure I get it and add it to my reports, and I'll be reading through that. If I have any questions, I'll just reach out to you if you don't mind.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Let's proceed to act coordination. Sister Linda Davis, I did see your wonderful thorough report. Sister Davis, thank you very much for that. You may proceed.
You're welcome. Thank you. And I did put the link in the chat. It is a long report. Basically, there's 3 things. The research action teams are continuing. The one I'm participating most actively with is the Attainable Housing team, and they are doing a lot. And the purpose of their work right now is to research information, talk to as many officials as possible in order for them to be able to produce an affordable housing plan and present that to the legislators for policy change and law change to get affordable housing. They're having some educational series sessions, including one was a couple days ago. One will be February 22nd. And then on March 14th, they'll have another meeting where they're going to put all their information together to create the plan for affordable housing. And then they're also encouraging people to attend their regional planning sessions. Each region has a planning document now, and most regions, and they're listed in my report. You can click the link in there and go to your regional plan, and you can attend meetings, find out information about past meetings. You can submit input, reply to questionnaires. There have been several ACT meetings. The notes from those meetings are there. And there's an upcoming ACT event. ACT is in combination with 2 other organizations in the state, one called Action in Montgomery and one called People Acting Together in Howard County, are supporting 5 bills. 4 of them relate to housing, and they're lobbying for those bills on February 21st. And the information about the bills is in my report, as well as the links to those bills. And one bill deals with energy efficiency for low-income households. That's the Empower Maryland bill. And lastly, the ACT Clergy and Leadership Breakfast will be happening on March 1st. And so basically, I'd like to encourage everyone to get involved in your regional plan meetings, attend the ACT housing meetings. There's a lot going on. We need help. I can't attend all the meetings. And the third thing is we're looking to find out if the Maryland State Conference has a housing chair, and if not, we're going to ask if they would support the housing bills. I think that's it. Thank you.
Linda, this is Mary. I texted with Kobe Little, who is currently in New York for an NAACP conference, national conference, not the national conference. And he gave me a name. There's no appointee in that position. I will send you the name of the person who's handling housing.
Okay, thank you. And I see that Sister Roman has her hand up.
Sister Roman, excuse me, Sister Roman, can it wait to the end, or is it something extremely pressing? I would like to wait to.
It's something. So I just had a question. Reverend Morris texted me. She's having trouble getting into the meeting. I was wondering if there's a reason she's not being allowed in.
There's a reason for that. Reverend Morris her membership has been automatically revoked according to the Constitution of the NAACP, and so that's all. Okay, let's go to the next report.
Are you able to send us official communication from National about that, explaining it?
A couple of things. I'll direct you to the NAACP Constitution, Title 10, and then if you have some questions after that, we can communicate about that directly, you and me one-on-one. Okay, let's proceed, everybody. At this point here, I'm going to go to criminal justice. I put my criminal justice report actually in the legislative agenda. You're going to look on the section of hate crimes and police reform and criminal justice. That outlines my criminal justice report. I believe I put in my report 1, 2, and 5. So also my report is also in our legislative agenda. I addressed it in detail there. One is dealing with, of course, our presentation to the Anne Arundel County delegation. 2 is about my meeting with Sheriff Seska. I already shared with you how he gave me some good ideas about how to try and curb all these arrests that are occurring in the schools. And then part 5, if you look at my report, it has to deal with my meeting with Governor Moore concerning the Judiciary Diversity Accountability Act. So that's really all I have to share for the criminal justice. I shared at the executive committee meeting, economic development, even though we don't have any, it's vacant at present, I have gotten some information from the state about their economic development plans, and they're very detailed. As a matter of fact, it's multifaceted. And I shared it with the executive committee, and I'll share with you here that it's so much involved with economic development. I'm going to bring some of that to our next meeting next month, the information I received, and somebody may find an interest in that. I didn't know the state's economic development plans were so detailed. I thank Brother Larry Diggs for bringing that to my attention, but it's quite extensive. And so it seems to me our economic development has not been anywhere near what the state is doing. And I want to bring that to everybody's attention at the next meeting because it may be something of interest to y'all. So we're going to get back with that. And that's the work of NAACP. We keep moving no matter what goes on. Education, Dr. Dodoni, I'm going to let you take over here, dear.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you can show the report, it's rather brief. We have meetings coming up. Dr. Ashworth, I will be reaching out to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the comments you've been putting in. Our meetings continue, and on the Thursday meeting, I think Andre Dillard from the mentorship program is going to be with us. Dr. Ashworth has mentioned that in her comments. We have discussed support for restorative schools legislation. The same method of obtaining support applies to this. For us to testify at the state level, we can write individually, we can present at the state level individually. We cannot do so in the name of the NAACP without authorization for the Maryland State Conference. As I indicated earlier, I've been in touch with Reverend Kobe Little, who is our president, and discovered there is not an appointed education committee chair, but he gave me the name of somebody to contact. I want to and we've obtained approval to make that contact to the state level and take the subsequent action during the executive committee meeting. I want to respond to the many comments that have been coming up about police or sheriff in the schools under the general topic of SROs, and the comments that Dr. Ashworth has been putting in, and the comments that Reverend Jones said. Reverend Jones, I look forward to meeting with you to discuss how we as the NAACP, either alone or in combination with the appropriate authorities, can host an informative and listening set of sessions about police and sheriff in schools. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Dr. Donnie. And we'll get before the Board of Education. We're gonna exhaust all avenues, and you will be hearing from me next week, so we can start planning that. I'm kind of, since you're education chair, I'm kind of let you guide me on that. But we have got to bring this to the state's attention, and they know about these statistics because they're the ones who put it out. But it's important. Let me say this too. This is one of the things that we keep missing. When statistics are gathered, they're not gathered for us just to use them to make an argument. Statistics are gathered to help us be able to make better decisions in comparison to the decisions we've already made. You see, the NAACP has always been against putting police officers in schools, but once we started having these school shootings, that argument couldn't stand any longer. So, because we got to have some type of law enforcement in schools, but we have an alternative here. They don't have to be police officers with their mindset of arrest and subdue. The sheriffs serve and protect would be at least better in that regard. So I want to just say this: the statistics are not there just to be there. They're there for us to look at it, assess what we've done, and improve it. And so these are the type of points that I want to bring to the Department of Education. We've got to reconsider this thing because there are too many people, children from marginalized communities being 85%. That's almost everybody who's being arrested from a marginalized community. There's no excuse for that. And nobody can justify that. No police officer, no legislator, no judge, nobody can justify that. There's too many students being arrested. And the ones who are being arrested for serious things, like what's life and death is in jeopardy, that's a small percentage. So we're not even talking about that. And so thank you, Dr. Jones. I will be in contact with you next week so we can set up some meetings so we can start getting focused on this, because it seems like if nobody says anything, nothing happens. And these statistics are not just there for us to look at them, we to assess what we've done and change. Thank you very much for your report, Dr.
Reverend Jones, may I add something?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you very much. Through the work of many organizations and persons, and here I want to especially call out Leah Green, very aware of the existence of House Bill 814, Senate Bill 744 on juvenile law. It's titled Reform. And people who are following the legislature know that that one is getting a lot of discussion across our organization. And I can't say that it's racially clear, because support and opposition is, I hear more from persons of color than I do from European Americans. And also Senate Bill 917, House Bill 1257, which is for the bill numbers for the restorative practices laws. Neither of these are directly mentioning SROs, and they're very closely related. So I'm saying that it's a great deal of guilt that I hadn't connected the dots sooner, and I don't know who is connecting the dots, but these dots connect. Thank you, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll talk next week. Okay, let's proceed to finance. Sister Stansberry, you have anything you want to share about the finance, dear? I know we had the meeting and everything went smoothly with you, Sister Roman, and Mr. Thomas.
No, I don't have anything additional.
I see. Okay, thank you. We're going to move past Freedom Fund. That was a success for those who may not know, a great success. We were able to earn money from that. Health. Sister Monroe, is she on today, Mr. Downey?
No, she is not. And I believe she got married yesterday. So.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Forgive me. She got married. She said anything about the report. She's probably still on a honeymoon. Forgive me, Sister Priscilla Monroe, in your absence. Okay, y'all, that's good news. Thank God. God bless him. God bless him. Housing, of course, Sister Monroe told me she would kind of do some work with housing. So when she gets back next month, I look forward to hearing about her decision to help us in that regard. That's the magnificent work of the NAACP and those who volunteer to come together and do the work when somebody else is not there in that position. Labor and industry, Reverend Jenkins, is he on, Mr. Downey?
Yes, I'm on. I have no report for this month, but as I said in our executive committee meeting, I will be reaching out to Dr. Dodoni and to Linda to get involved with any labor issues that their committees are involved in.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You shared that with us at the executive committee meeting. Thank you. We appreciate that. When it goes to legal redress number SM, I asked you to look at the President's report, section 6. That's the legal redress. That's I want to let people know what's going on with legal redress. We only had 3 complaints filed, and I addressed each one of them with the people who filed the complaints. For those people who in the past meetings have said, Reverend Joseph, why haven't you reached out to somebody because something happened, somebody's child got killed or crippled or whatever by police? The NAACP's involvement doesn't occur until they file a formal complaint on our website. So you don't go and get involved in people's lives if they haven't even filed a complaint. And so that's the answer to that question. I wanted to go ahead and address that because some people are wondering why you don't go get involved in stuff like that. You can't do that because people have lawyers, they have other representation. You can't go get involved with folks like that. They haven't filed a complaint. So before we get involved, it must be preceded by a complaint on our website. And number 6 of the President's report, those are the 3 formal complaints we did get, and Reverend Jones addressed them. You'll see that a lot of the complaints, when you read section 6, a lot of the complaints don't really require our involvement. They just need some guidance. Many, as a matter of fact, I probably say probably about 50-75% of the complaints I've been getting, they need some guidance. That's all. And then when you give them the guidance, they're so appreciative because they don't know about all the resources that are available or things that they can return to that's way more effective than us just saying, hey, that's not right. And so many times when folk are filing a complaint, they don't want to just say, hey, that's not right. They want something done. And so the first thing I'm thinking about when they file a complaint is connect them with the government officials who can get something done. And then if they still need help, they can always reach back out to us. So that's what that's all about. You read that in number 6. Concerning membership, I'm assuming Sister Davenport is not on. I didn't see her. Is that correct, Mr. Downey?
No, she's not on today.
Okay. I know Mr. Waddy not here. Political action. We'll go past that. Preston.
Actually, he's on. Well, he was on a second ago.
I don't have a report from him, so I'm going to proceed. He didn't give a report. Preston Publication, we know that's vacant now. For those who've been wondering about Sister Alfonso, why she's not there, she stepped down because of some job-related stuff. She didn't want any conflict of interest, things of that nature. And so she's concerned about not having any issues on the job. So that's why she stepped down. And I have somebody else in mind to step in there. And when I talk to the person, if they're willing, I'll let everybody know and update them on that. Okay, prison branch. Sister Leah Green, let's talk about this wonderful report you provided here.
Oh, good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for my help this time. And what I'd like to bring first to the attention of all of us is to please make yourself familiar with the Maryland Alliance, Maryland General Assembly website. They have all the information that we would need to make an educated guess on how we want to follow through with the bills that are coming through. It's many, many bills. So when you're passionate about one, make sure you understand the whole bill, read it, because you can pull it up, you can put it in the search bar and pull it up and read it at your convenience and get a better understanding of what you're passionate about. That helps. So we're asking these 5 support bills, and there's many bills, there's hundreds of bills in the General Assembly, but this is in reference to the present population, inside and out, and families and all of us. Correctional husband is an oversight bill that gives independent awareness of what's going on behind the walls, and is gathering momentum behind the walls. Very exciting. We got good support. Olinda Moy, the major group, all of us is in that arena trying to make it work. We had a good turnout for the Senate side. March 7, we're going to go to the House side, and it's just do what you can. You can testify in person, or you can write something in. Medical geriatric parole. We have the people behind the walls that are in wheelchairs, walkers. I'm telling you, you can't make it up. And if the taxpayers knew where their tax money was going to, it would be a different story. And we want to get the governor out of parole for lifers. We already had, this is the medical, it should be medical parole, because we got the governor out of the lifers bill. Second look is to, they're given an opportunity to look at people as they are today, not what they was yesterday. So that's an important bill. And behind the walls is please begging us to read the bill, give them a chance, a second chance at life, because they're not the same people as they were back in that dark period in their life. So that's a wonderful story. Correctional education, bring the Pell Grant back, make education be part of the system so that people that go in come back out a better person and a better everything. It works for everybody. And we're no winners in none of this if they go in and stay that way. So we need to really crack down on the powers to be to get them to understand education is a very good thing for all of us. And the controversy bill that we oppose is making the community safe. And yes, a trick word, because it's a knee-jerk action that we all want our community safe. But once we understand there's no winners in none of this, that we have to go dig a little deeper to find out what's going on here, I think we'll be better off for everybody. So I'm asking people to read the bills, come to your own conclusion, ask people, get the help that you need to understand. And the last, but this one knocks me. I don't know, they're trying to bring the death penalty back to Maryland. So we say, please oppose this. We don't want to go back into what we've already gained. So just don't get angry, just get even and learn everything you can learn in reference to the bills you're passionate about. I thank you.
Sister Green, do you know if there's a prison chair for the state? Are they familiar with these bills? Do you know if there's one?
I'm sorry, I could say it again, sir.
Do you know if there's a prison chair for the state? The state.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I'm also bringing it up to President Kobe Little when I communicate with him about the environmental justice bill, because they got to know about these things. These are critically important bills here, especially this death penalty, trying to bring that back. And so I'm gonna reach out to him when and ask him about that as well, because we got to find out where the state is on this so we can kind of show up at some of these hearings and support this, because I've had a chance, of course, to look at some, not all of them, but I'm gonna look at the rest of them that I haven't looked at. Thank you for this report. This is exactly what we need, so we can look at these bills and get a position for our branch, because it seems like they make a lot of sense. And I will share one thing with everybody. Number one, the correctional ombudsman Senate Bill 134 and House Bill 297. This, for those who may not know, this is basically to get an independent, impartial public office, not part of the Department of Public Safety and Corrections, to investigate complaints from men and women in prison. For those who may not know about this, this is extremely important. If you have relatives who've been in prison like I have, and they're complaining about things going on there, sometimes you can't go anywhere with it unless you're the attorney. So by having an independent, impartial public office to deal with that, it can be very helpful to them. And I had a relative recently who just got out of prison, was calling me, pretty regularly about things that were going on that wasn't fair. And I had to literally call because I was also his attorney. So when I called and got in contact with the warden's office, I was able to be effective in putting a stop to it because I was his attorney also. So what if you're not an attorney and something is happening to your relative and they complain about something that's clearly unfair? Then this ombudsman bill here, correctional, to have an independent, impartial public officer to deal with these complaints is extremely important. I don't know what folks do if you're not an attorney, how you get them to respond to anything. And so I just wanted to mention that. And he actually mentioned to me when he was in prison, they would tell him, why'd you call your attorney? He said, I called my brother. He said, no, you didn't call your attorney. He said, my attorney, my brother is my attorney. So that gave him attention to the matter and put a stop to it. But I'm thinking myself, if people don't have an attorney, because relatives always call them, they don't really listen to that. So by having an independent, impartial public office to deal with that, that would go a long way in terms of making sure our loved ones, even though they're in prison, they don't deserve to be treated like animals. And so I just wanted to share that. So Sister Green, thank you very much for this information. I always wanted, because I didn't know about that. I have a lot of information about the prison bills, but this has been very helpful. Thank you very much. Anyone who has any questions, please save them. We're going to get to the questions here shortly. Okay, that's prison branch. We're going to go past public relations, religious affairs, and youth advisor and WIN. Okay. Unfinished business. Is any questions that may be in your mind based on the reports that we heard? Are there any questions about any of the reports from anybody? And Mr. Downey, please let me know when you see hands. Well, I see Dr. Garrett's hand.
Yep.
I'm raising my hand because I'm not clear in terms of process and protocol. So we have a number of bills. We know that if the NAACP, our branch, supports some of these bills, it's going to go far. And I'm hearing over and over again that we have to check with the state to see if the state is supporting the bill, which is fine. Are we going to get a list of the bills that the state NAACP is supporting? So if we need to further reach out to our representatives, who are the ones that vote on the bills, we can do so. So, I need to ask the question because I'm not sure of our process. I'm really not clear about it.
The answer to your question is this. When we have a bill that we want to support, if it's a statewide bill, protocol is to make sure we touch bases with the state first because they get first priority in terms of supporting. They can't not support something that we support as a branch. That just doesn't work. We can't be out of line like that. So whenever a bill is a statewide bill, like these bills are, as opposed to Anne Arundel County bill, then we have to check with the state. If it's the Anne Arundel County legislation or rule or something along those lines, we go and support or oppose it. So that's the process.
Yeah, I understand all that you're saying and all that you just said. My question is, if we find out that the state is going to support the Maryland Department of the Environment bill or any other state bill, is there going to be a process within this branch for letting us know that it's been supported? That's all. That's what I mean by protocol, because I'm not sure how it works. So okay. I'm asking to be educated, not on Anne Arundel County bills, on the state bills that you have said, you're going to check in with the state president to see if the state NAACP supports it.
This is the process, Dr. Garrett. Once I find out the state supports a statewide bill, then I'll bring it back to us and we can decide whether we're going to support it. That's the process.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
May I piggyback on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I had just written something in the chat. I have a similar question. Or is it possible for us to get a list of the bills that our branch supports and doesn't support so that we can contact our representatives about the various bills and the corollary is would our letters, emails, whatever, be able to reference NAACP, or would they have to be individual responses, not mentioning NAACP?
Okay. The only thing I can say about that is, let's say, for example, the state supports the our budget bill that Sister Green just shared with us. Once they let me know they support it, I bring it back to the branch. We agree or not agree that we're going to support it. And once we get that, then we're going to reduce it to writing so we all know what it is. So that's kind of the process. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Is there another question, Mr. Downey? Dr. Dodoni, I think I see your hand up.
No. Let me see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, you do. I have a question about the thief who took our money, and the $13,000 still owed, and he broke the terms of his agreement. I don't know if he's under I know it's a he. I've heard that pronoun used before. I don't know if I'm going to use they in my wording. I don't know if they are in prison. They're certainly going to go back before a judge. I don't know their ethnicity. I know we are very worried about what happens when people go to jail and punitive judgments. I'm raising the question of whether we are willing to consider something like a payment plan.
Mr. Thomas?
Well, he was in court back in December, like I said, and he confessed to theft, and the judge accepted his confession of theft and put him on probation. And he said by the beginning of February, he would come up with the $13,000. He did not come up with the $13,000. And it's my understanding he lived in Virginia, but he's being subpoenaed. He's being deported back to Maryland. And that's the last I heard. And I'm waiting for the state's attorney to bring me up to date on what's going on. But the last I heard, he was supposed to pay 13 by the beginning of February. He confessed that he had stolen the money, and he was going to pay restitution. And we got the original restitution. The original amount was $18,000, and he came up with $5,000. So the judge extended him getting the other 13 by February. He did not meet that goal. And the last information I had from the state's attorney office was that he's being deported, whatever the word is, back to the state of Maryland. And I'm waiting to get some updated details from them.
And also, the state's attorney has been very good in giving you an update, correct, Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, so when you get the update,
give me verbal updates, they've given me email updates.
Because you've been sharing it with me, so we just got to make sure we bring it to the attention of the
Yes.
group, the update. And so, Dr. Adoni, is that good enough, dear? Once we get an update, we'll let you know what that is.
That is certainly appropriate for information. I want to raise the possibility that we consider engaging with this person who's already defaulted on an agreement in a manner consistent with our support of legislation around convicted criminals.
Dr. Dunn, if you don't mind, because the state's attorney has been pretty consistent with updating Mr. Thomas, why don't we see what her latest update is? We know the man, they grabbed the man and deported him back over here. Why don't we see what the latest update is, and based on what she puts in writing to Mr. Thomas, we kind of proceed from there, if that's okay.
Of course. Thank you for receiving my question.
Thank you, dear. Any more questions, Mr. Downey, for any reports, anything we reported on today?
I think Miss Leah Green had a comment.
Okay, Sister Green.
Yes, I just wanted to make clear that we can vote any way we want to vote individually. It's just that when you are representing an organization, you need to know where they stand. This is my understanding. But, when we talk about Maryland Cure support this or the NAACP support that, we should get it from the top that this is what the whole organization, but you can always vote the way you feel you want to vote.
And I will say this as well, even the state has to, before they take a position on a national bill, they got to communicate with the national NAACP. Yes. And so it's really protocol. And when I communicate with Kobe Little, because he asked me for my opinion on this bill 814, and my first thing I said to him, I said, Mr. President, I want to make sure I'm not getting out of order. Don't you have a chairperson over criminal justice? I said, I don't mind giving my opinion, but I want to make sure I'm in order. And he said to me, Reverend Judge, I appreciate you respecting protocol. So because he said that to me, I want to make sure our branch also will respect protocol. So that's why I'm taking that particular position, because he's very clear with me. Kobe Little is very a stickler for protocol. So if you go and say something or jump over them, he's not going to be happy about that. So when I say things to everybody, it's because I've been communicating with the president, and I kind of know his position on things.
Yeah, that's
Thank you, Sister Green. Okay, Mr. Downey, any more hands, sir?
I think there's a couple comments in the chat. Let's see, Miss Jen Roman, Miss Jackie. I don't know if they want to.
Wait a minute. The chats about the reports of the committees. That's what we all know. Unfinished business. Questions about the reports that were given from the committees.
It's not committee specific. They were just commenting on some of the bill discussions.
I see. Okay, we all look at the chat and read that, sir. All right. There are no other questions about the unfinished business. Any new business about anything that was reported that perhaps a chairperson overlooked or that's very important that should be covered by a chairperson? That will be the new business section. We're going to focus on the work of the committees, and if somebody overlooks something, because there's so many things involved that somebody can easily overlook something. So is there something you want to share concerning committee work that may have been overlooked? That would be our new business. Do we have any hands for that, Mr. Downey?
Yeah, we have Mary.
Okay. Dr. Downey?
I need your advice, President Jones. I have taken a list of 5 action items based on the committee reports. Would this be the place to summarize them?
Sure, please.
Okay, first, I will correct the executive committee minutes and resend them to both Ralph and Reverend Jones, and they're corrected in the secretary's files as well. Second, Reverend Jones will send an email to Dr. Tracy Garrett on how to claim NAACP support for a bill at Maryland General Assembly testimony, and will provide us with a list of bills that the Maryland State Conference NAACP is supporting for the entire membership. Mary Didoni will work with President Ricky Nelson Jones to establish a forum that is both to learn and to listen on arrests in schools and alternatives to arrest. And some of this comes from the chat. Mary Didoni will contact TAC, the Teachers Union, about support for teachers of color in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Thank you very much, Jen Stell, for letting me know about that. Those are the actions items I have recorded. If I've missed any, if you would let me know, I will include them in the minutes.
Let's see. Okay, thank you very much. Any more hands, Mr. Downey, about new business and the reports of the committees or the work of the committee?
I see Sky Bailey's hand raised.
Okay,
I just want to remind everybody to please visit our community coordination committee page. I put the link in the chat because there's always events up there. I'm always, with the help of Linda and Soleil, updating that page. But I wanted just to remind everybody, particularly since it is February, so there's a little bit more in there than usual, and I don't want anybody to miss out their stuff today, tomorrow, and the rest of the month. So get out, stay safe, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any more questions about the work of the committees, Mr. Downey?
At this time, do not see any additional hands raised.
Okay, beautiful. At this point, then, I would like to get a motion to adjourn the meeting in a second.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Carol Smith. Mary Didoni seconds the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, the motion to adjourn the meeting has been made by Sister Smith and seconded by Dr. Didoni. The NAACP general meeting for February 17th is now concluded at 11:05 a.m. Everyone have a wonderful and blessed day. For those who want to stay on, I will give a benediction for those who want to stay on for 30 seconds. If not, we understand. Thank you for coming to the meeting. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to give the benediction here. And so it's going to be the same kind of benediction I give at church. Okay. Psalm 19, 7-9. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the communion of the Holy Ghost be with you all, now, henceforth, and forevermore. Let's respond, amen and amen. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Dr. Dawn, I'll be in touch with you next week, dear.